Hello. Welcome. My name is Kwabena. Welcome. Today I want to share with you our greatest strength is in our unity. As Africans, our greatest strength is in our unity. As Africans, when the Europeans had been here for almost 300 years and they decided to share our continent amongst them, in 1884, 85, the whole strategy was for them to just cut us into pieces, to disunite us, and not only in terms of landmass or physical boundaries, but they also divided us. They use a lot of things to divide us. The Arabs had done that as well through their religion, and the Europeans through their religion, through physical partitioning of our continent, and all kind of things that they have used, to divide us. And then we also came with our own things in terms of tribes and other things that separate, one another from ourselves. And so, you see, there is so much strength in unity. And so those of us on the continent, when we are one and work towards common objective of creating prosperity and development for ourselves and for our people, those in America, those in the Caribbean, those in Europe, Africans everywhere, coming together and seeing Africa as our main project of working to make sure that our people enjoy the best of our prosperity, the best of the things, the treasures, the wealth that Africa has. And that will come because you all wake up as Africans, whether we were born on the continent or whether we were born outside the continent. Our greatest strength is us coming together. And if you look at the whole systems that they have used, the many systems that they have used, they were all meant to keep us separated, keep us misinformed about ourselves. So growing up, I didn't know much about the history of those in America, those in Jamaica. And I'm sure that they also didn't know much about us, except that the ones that they were showing in their movies and the ones that they were showing in their news and on their channels. And most of these channels were managed and were monitored. They had an agenda to keep a certain image of Africa, which has to be poor people, unintelligent people, uncivilized people. We went there to give them. And so even growing up, I heard a lot of prominent preachers who, there was a time a preacher said that we should thank God that the Europeans came to colonize us because we would have fought to kill ourselves. And now that I had problem with that kind of statement, it was that much uninformed. But because we look up to those people as very prominent, powerful people with following, not much of what they did were as informed, So they would just make a lot of statements instead of them to look at the atrocities that happened to Africa and that continue to happen. He was trying to give excuses. And so our strength, actually, our greatest strength is in our unity, coming together as Africans, those on the continent and everywhere, and working to make Africa prosperous, going into industrialization, into manufacturing, into processing, writing our own stories, producing music that will wake our people up, building schools and hospitals, building infrastructure, governing our people, conscious Africans getting into political positions with the aim of playing their part to make sure that our continent and our people are in charge of our economy. And so our unity is in that. And in our bid to working together to become one people, there will be casualties, there will be errors, there will be mistakes, but we don't have to give up on ourselves just because somebody has offended us or somebody has let us down. One of the things that is difficult working with Africans, especially those of us who were born on the continent or who moved somewhere, is that they come from the position of mistrust. They come from the position of chauvinism. They come from the position where they are very much condescending on those of us who were born here. So it's said that when you are even doing business with them, they come from the position of mistrust. And I think that you cannot work together if for a bigger goal, for a bigger agenda when we condescend, when we mistrust on any little thing. And so we have to have big heart to trust and to be open and to know that it will take a lot of mistakes, a lot of errors, a lot of disagreements, a lot of fight for us to be one people and work towards this agenda, because whether we like it or not, the whole world treats us as one people. Once you look like me, once you look like an African, you can deny all that, but when it comes to anything, go to anywhere in the world, they treat the same treatment that we are giving. And so if you're giving the same treatment, then why don't we work together? After all, we all have the same heritage, and treat ourselves better, because nobody else will treat us better but ourselves. So when you are in a political position, you're in business, or you have religious organizations, when it comes to anything that will lift your people up, be patient. Try them. Maybe there is a young businessman somewhere that you tried, you gave a project to, and they disappointed you. Don't cut them and say that I'll rather go for the Chinese or the Indians. No. Build them, help them, teach them. Some of them will not listen, but you have to try about 1 million for one not to listen, for you to give up. For all of them not to listen, for you to give up. So long as you have not tried 1 million or 10 million of us, then there is still more room for us to be tried and tested, because we are coming from the same kind of, damaged positions. There's not much that we know about ourselves, and there's not much that we know about working together as a people. And those were even deliberate. Keep them separated, disunited, mistrustful of themselves. Let them look up to the European or the white man as the ultimate solution. Let them, because he is closer to God. Those things must be broken down, and those things were set to make sure that we are not united. So in our greatest journey that we have to embark on is working together as a people. We know that many may not agree to this because it takes a lot of effort, but it is still the only solution that we have, that as Africans we work together for our common good, for our common goal, for our own development. There will be challenges, there will be troubles, people will disappoint us, people will let us down, but we still have to have the heart to work together, because that is the only solution. It's like a family. If you can work together, there's no future for you. And as a matter of fact, people who are united cannot easily be broken, cannot easily be taken advantage of, but cannot easily be overcome and be destroyed. They can only overcome us when we are disunited, when we are not one. The moment we go with one, or not even everybody, we get a good number of us who can focus on this goal, that Nigeria, Kenya, Tanzania, Ghana, South Africa, all these countries, Jamaica, African Americans, everywhere, those in Europe, we come together to correct the history. We come together to build technologies. We come together to build financial powerhouse that will invest in African businesses. We come together to write books, to change and to improve and to equip our people, develop the mindset of our people, develop the way we see our people, give platforms to Africans. Those things, if the moment we start to work like that, change the narratives to a very good position, not a victim's position, but a great people's position, change the history, all the errors that they implemented, that our people continue to repeat them, let's correct them. The other day I was talking with a friend, and he was, anything that you say about history, then he's rebutting it. Then I asked him, so when you were in the university, did they teach you any history? And then he said that, you have me on that one. Yeah, I don't remember they taught us. So, and I said that after school, did you read anything? Then he was there. So then you don't know much. So why are you arguing? But I had to be very patient with him, because I know that I was in the same situation where I didn't know much, and I even thought that those things were not important. Because from primary school to secondary school to the university, the history that was taught us, maybe the traditions and the cultures were cultural education were okay, but the kind of history that would deal with the European misinformation were not there. And then I would enter church too, is the same misinformation about us. So I get to 40 years, I get to 30 years, and they're expecting me to be a strong African. How am I going to be a strong African when I don't know much about Africa and I don't know much about myself? So our greatest strength, I dare say, is our unity. Our unity working for the good of Africa. And so you can, maybe you are born in America. You may even say that I don't like anything about Africa. Where did they hear? Where a lot of African Americans will say that they don't like us in Africa. How do you know that? You have never. How do you know that they don't like you about Africa? They don't. They sold us. How do you know that? They sold you. That is what the Europeans told you, and you believe it. You think that everybody in Africa was selling human beings? No. A lot of them fought with their lives, challenged the system, but they came. with systems. They came with equipment. They came with tools. They came with ship. They came with chains. They came with guns. You don't tell us that we were selling our people. That's why they came. No, they came with an agenda to destroy. And they continue to use their institutions, the Western institutions, to continue to suppress Africa. Sometimes I think, why do you think the Africans are your children? But we are many. On the continent alone, we are about 1.3 or so billion people. In America, in the Caribbean, and all over. If you put us together, we are getting close to 2 billion people. We are powerful enough. They have only kept us down because we are uninformed and we are not working together. The moment many of us will take ownership of ourselves, will take ownership of our continent and show interest, you don't even have to live here, but visit and correct the errors. Our strength, the greatest advantage that we have for the next 50 years, for the next 100 years, is for us to own Africa and work towards. Some people are very worried about Chinese coming to Africa. I think that they can only succeed if we keep disunited, if we stay disunited. But so long as we work, and we wake many of our people up, we are very much intelligent, tough, resilient people that nothing can overcome us. If they could not take the continent, if they could not kill everybody, what makes you think that in the future they can do that? So we are not weak people. We just been much uninformed, and we've probably been much separated, and we see ourselves as individuals. So we have to have a common goal. Say that if I see an African do something, I will extend a helping hand. I don't have to have any self-interest in that, but I'm ready to help you as an African to succeed.